Hey guys, Indy here with Ultimate Tool Reviews, and today I want to talk about Craftsman tools. So Craftsman tools, it's kind of got a special place in everybody's heart that's ever worked with tools. They've been around for over 100 years, and they've kind of always been well known for making a very well-made tool, but yet at a value price. Their kind of goal is get tools into every garage in America, and that's kind of what they've been always pushing for. Now, they've always been well known for that, hassle-free lifetime warranty. A lot of their tools have always had that, and it hasn't really changed. They're still offering that warranty pretty much everywhere. Now, Craftsman went through a bit of a rocky spot back in the early 2000s, 90s, with issues with Sears, is where they were based out of. And as we get into more of the 2000s, mid 2000s, Stanley Black and Decker, who owns DeWalt, they stepped in and they bought Craftsman. Now, after that happened, a lot of things started moving really quickly with Craftsman, whereas places like Lowe's, Ace Hardware, they started having a ton of Craftsman hit their shelves. So we saw Craftsman power tools, we saw Craftsman tool chests, we saw Craftsman hand tools just kind of going everywhere as fast as they can be. Now, when it comes to Craftsman, guys, I don't really own a lot of Craftsman tools. The thing with Craftsman is I'm kind of mixed on what Craftsman is doing right now. One thing they've always been really known for is the made in the USA tools. I actually own a good amount of the older Craftsman sockets. They're fantastically made sockets. I love them a lot. However, the newer Craftsman stuff is a lot of it's made in China. Pretty much almost all of it's made in China now. And the quality just isn't really there. And some people might argue me on that, but if you compare an older Craftsman, made in the USA to some of the newer made in China stuff, it's pretty easy to tell which one is the better made tool. Now, what's interesting about Craftsman is that we've got places like Harbor Freight that now exist. So if you want to walk into Harbor Freight and you're looking to do, maybe a small project, you can buy everything you need to do that project for the most part at Harbor Freight. They've got coupons, they've got really low-end tools, but yet with a lifetime warranty. Whereas if you walk into, say, Lowe's and you want to buy all the tools you need, I've noticed a lot of those tools from Craftsman are quite expensive. If you look at, just like the ratchets at Lowe's, some of these Craftsman ratchets are hitting like 50, 60, 70 bucks. They're getting pretty expensive. And it's not like it's like some, high-end brand, the Craftsman V series. That's just the regular Craftsman name ratchets. Whereas you can get a pretty decent Harbor Freight ratchet for like 10 bucks. And both have lifetime warranties as well too. So something with the Craftsman, I'll touch on the hand tools for right now, is that a lot of the hand tools are just really expensive. I'll give you an example. I was just looking for a new screwdriver set, kind of look at the DeWalt a little bit, looked at the Craftsman, looked at the Milwaukee, but kind of what I did was I kind of just waited until one went on sale. Now the Craftsman one goes on sale actually kind of, regularly, about once a quarter is what I've noticed. And I think it's like a 10, 12 piece set. It went down to I think like $28. Well, the Milwaukee 16-piece set, I think it was 16-piece set. I covered it not too long ago, but it went down to like 20 bucks at Ace, and that's the one I picked up. Now, when it comes to positioning of the price points there, Craftsman is definitely below DeWalt. That's how they position Craftsman. But a lot of the stuff, if you look at like the Home Depot price point of the hand tools and the Home Depot DeWalt stuff and the Craftsman Lowe's stuff, they're super similar in price points. The Craftsman stuff, I think, is like at times 25 to 40% higher than what it should be. If I want to just buy like a Milwaukee or a DeWalt hand tool, it's almost the same price as the Craftsman stuff. The only thing that's actually going to be cheaper at Lowe's is like the Cobalt stuff, which I'm actually a big fan of the Cobalt stuff. It's pretty good stuff. But a lot of the Craftsman stuff is pretty expensive. I'm not sure what they're doing there exactly with a lot of those hand tools. For example, I was looking for just like a diagonal cutter. At Lowe's, I think it's like on sale right now for like $11.99, like 12 bucks. Well, I picked up the Husky. I think the Husky was like 9 or 10 when I got mine. And I don't necessarily want to put Husky in any brand areas there, but I really like the Husky a lot. And you would think that the Craftsman would be kind of aiming for a bit more of that value-oriented price point. When in actuality, it's going to be in the mid-range to the upper mid-range in a lot of areas. Now, one thing I will say that I definitely don't like about the new Craftsman right now is, I'm just going to say, they have the worst tool storage systems out right now. They're the most flimsy, thinnest metal stuff I've ever seen. Now I do own one, it's over to my left a bit here. I don't really keep a lot in it, I'm kind of afraid I'm gonna break it. It has some issue with the drawers right away. I called for a warranty and they said, we can't really do anything about it, it's not a big deal. I was able to kind of fix it myself by, kind of messing with the drawers, and it's a whole mess there with some of the Craftsman stuff. Now I did pick it up on clearance. I pretty much got it for like, $60 out the door. It was a really awesome clearance deal. But what I'll tell you this, guys, is walk into Harbor Freight, check out the US General stuff, shake it, check the drawers, walk into Home Depot, check the Husky stuff, shake the drawers, then walk into Lowe's, check out the Craftsman stuff. It's super noticeable that the Craftsman stuff is way below everybody else. You guys can argue with me in the comments on that one, but I've looked at all of them. I shop for them all the time, and it's just the lowest quality stuff I've got. I got all Cobalt. I got one US General over here, the red one, and they are clearly better made than the Craftsman. I would not pay anywhere near full retail price for the Craftsman tool storage. Now, are we seeing improvements? I hope so. I know they have the new Gen 2 stuff out. It seemed like all they did for Gen 2 was kind of add the black bumpers. It didn't really seem like they improved the metal quality or thickness at all. But I'll give Craftsman some time. I don't want to call off the brand entirely on that stuff. They can come out with a new version and it might be awesome. So I don't necessarily want to say, I'd never look at Craftsman again, but I've been definitely unimpressed with their first generation of tool storage. Now, a lot of the hand tools, I will say, are decently well made. I haven't really had an issue with the hand tools. Their bits, actually, I would say are basically DeWalt bits. I've used some of these. I got them on clearance for like $3 this set. I've used them. They seem to perform exactly the same as the DeWalt bits. I don't really notice a huge difference quality-wise between those and DeWalt. They do some really cool stuff, though, that I've never even seen. This actually came in handy during Hurricane Ian when I actually lost power. Now, this is actually a pretty cool little radio that Craftsman makes. It was like $15 too. So it's got battery operation, so you put a couple AAAs in it. It has a hand crank, and that's so you can charge the internal battery. It's got a full radio in it with the NOAA communication. It has a solar panel on top that charges that internal battery. And to use that battery, you can actually use the little light, and then it's got DC out right here, and you can charge your phone. I actually charge my phone entirely using the solar panel on here. Also use the hand crank a couple times too. Super handy little device to have, not even for the radio alone, but the fact that you can use a solar panel or the hand crank to charge your phone was actually pretty invaluable. Kind of something you would expect to see from maybe like Ryobi, but Craftsman had it and had it really cheap too, so really impressed by that little tool. Now, something that you may have seen, I think I did a short on this quite a while ago, is some of the Craftsman bar and chains. Now, I believe that they're made by maybe Oregon, I'm not sure exactly, but they've been really good. And the cool thing about these is that I feel like they've gone on clearance a number of times for like $10 a couple times. I found them at 2 different stores on different occasions, and they were $10. So I bought a bunch of the 16s and the 18-inch bar and chain. And yeah, guys, this is the bar and the chain in there. And man, for 10, $11 for each one, I picked up like 8 of them. And they've been absolutely fantastic. When most other brands are like $40 for just that, Craftsman really came in and saved the day for me when it came with, buying more bar and chains for my Makita chainsaws. They've all been fantastic. Now, Craftsman, of course, they're always been known in the mechanical fields, and I have a few, half-inch swivel joints. I've got a few other, random Craftsman things that I've bought, and when they go on sale, when they hit clearance, that I'll buy as well too, and they've been fantastic as well. Now, I want to cover power tools. I haven't really used any of the Craftsman power tools. From watching reviews, they seem like they're really well reviewed. I will say they are, heavily based on the DeWalt models. There's actually even a few that will beat the DeWalt models because they put the newer technology in the Craftsman before they hit the DeWalt ones, which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure why they would do that, but again, it's going to be a money thing for Stanley Black & Decker. But now, if we get into price point with the Craftsman tools, they are an amazing value. I know last year when we started seeing clearance at Lowe's, and by the way guys, clearance at Lowe's generally hits between late December, just after Christmas, and it runs basically through the end of February for most Lowe's. So you can find a lot of the crazy deals. Watch this channel, guys, when I hit early next year. I'm posting pretty much all the time about some of the deals I'm gonna find at Lowe's. You can find a lot of the toolboxes go on clearance, a lot of cool stuff. But anyways, all the Craftsman stuff went on clearance like crazy. And there was just, you could find deals for like, 20, 30, 40 bucks, get a whole toolkit. And it was pretty wild deals. Now, of course, they do make a lot of the lower end brush models. They had some of the mid-range brush stuff. They have the new brushless RP stuff as well too. And a lot of that stuff, I want to say, I don't know for sure, but a lot of it does look like it is just going to be, a DeWalt tool, but in red. There's not a huge amount of difference there, which isn't a bad thing. A way to get into more of the pro stuff without spending pro money. Kind of cool from Craftsman there. But my reasoning on that so far has been, I'll just buy the DeWalt version. It's kind of the way I've been thinking about it. There's not really any Craftsman tools that I need or wanting to get into another battery line when the tools are pretty much just DeWalt tools. For the most part, there's not really any Craftsman tools that you can get that DeWalt also doesn't have. So, if I were to say, get into Makita and get into Milwaukee, you're going to find some huge differences in those brands. However, Craftsman and DeWalt, they're sister companies basically, and they're going to always have similar items. There's very little in the Craftsman side that you cannot get from DeWalt. Very little in DeWalt side you can't really get from Craftsman. There's gonna be like the power stack battery stuff, some of the higher end XR, all the pro stuff is gonna be in DeWalt, and that's kind of my reasoning for just staying in DeWalt and not really even bothering with Craftsman too much. Now you will find a lot of really good deals on the Craftsman stuff, so if you're, you don't necessarily need to go pro, I think Craftsman's actually a great option as well too. They've got a full outdoor line of tools, OPE tools, they've got plenty of those, and it seems like they're always coming with something new, something cool, and there's always going to be a clearance deal somewhere for Craftsman. So it's one of those things where I'm just a little bit mixed on what Craftsman is doing. Their hand tool prices are kind of just astronomically priced. The quality, I personally don't think it really matches the quality of what they're charging for those tools. Now the power tools is almost totally opposite. I think that they're actually a fantastic deal. The pricing is oftentimes really low, but you're actually getting pretty decent power tools. Now I will say that's for the cordless tools. I've heard not so good stuff about the corded Craftsman tools. For example, my dad bought one of the corded grinders, and he said it went on him in like 2 days for just light use, using it for here and there. He just needed a cheap grinder. He said he wished he just bought the Harbor Freight one instead. And I've heard that from a few people too, that some of the corded tools from Craftsman have just been kind of so-so. They're kind of just making those things as cheap as possible right now. And that's where you're going to kind of get from Craftsman. It's going to be very hit or miss. There's a lot of, Stanley Black & Decker, other brands that they're going to rebrand into Craftsman. I don't think there's a lot of Craftsman unique stuff that they're making entirely for Craftsman. I think there's a lot of just rebranding happening as stuff goes into Craftsman. But overall, I think the price points are relatively confusing for Craftsman. When you can spend easily more on hand tools than you can spend on cordless power tools is a little strange to me, and I'm not really sure what's going on there. I feel like I should own way more Craftsman by now, just because there's so much of it out there. It's a pretty good brand. They have a great lifetime warranty. But if you compare pricing on that stuff, it's often better to grab the Cobalt, grab the Husky, the Milwaukee, or the DeWalt instead, because you can often find that cheaper. So it's a little bit, confusing there, and I'm a bit mixed on the whole Craftsman thing. Now, of course, you're going to find some good deals. I've got a bunch of Craftsman flashlights as well, too. But I will say something about that as well. If you didn't know, most Cobalt and most Husky flashlights actually do have a lifetime warranty. And, if you break it, they go out, LED dies. I've had no issue replacing those through Cobalt or Husky. I've had some that are 5-6 years old. They say lifetime warranty. It breaks, LED goes out, I take it in, they give me a new one. Now, a lot of the Craftsman stuff is like a 1-year warranty, and it's more expensive than the Cobalt or the Husky. So, of course, I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to buy the item that has the better warranty, which is infinitely better at a lifetime warranty than just a 1-year warranty. So I'm a little confused on that one. Even some stuff like their torque wrenches that they have very limited warranties on those. I think that's like a 1-year warranty on some of those. When you can buy the Harbor Freight ones, they're going to have a better warranty on those torque wrenches as well too. So there's some things where I'm a little surprised that for what Craftsman is charging for the stuff, that they don't give you a better warranty. It seems like they're trying to get around that higher end warranty in a lot of stuff. Now, They do make a lot of other tools that most brands don't even touch. Like they do make some, outdoor rakes. They've got like shovels, and they've actually got some pretty impressive warranties on those. They got like 15-year plus warranties on those tools, which is pretty cool to see. The only brand that does that, I believe, is Cobalt and Husky. Now, Cobalt does have some lifetime warranties on a few things. But again, though, I was actually looking for a outdoor tool like a post digger, if you know what those are, the two shovels that are latched together. And what was funny is that you think that the Craftsman might be a bit better of a tool to buy than Cobalt. Like Cobalt's kind of now aiming for that little bit lower end. A lot of stuff is cheaper than the Craftsman, but the Cobalt was actually more expensive than the Craftsman. The Cobalt felt way nicer, it was solid aluminum handles, felt way more solid when I was shopping for it, and it had a full lifetime warranty. But the Craftsman definitely felt cheaper with only a 15-year warranty. It was a $20 difference, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna spend the $60 on the Cobalt and just get that instead. So I'm finding a lot of things where there's a lot of tools out there, and when you kind of compare it, even at Lowe's itself, in the same store, it's hard to get Craftsman sometimes because there's just a better tool next to it from a different brand. So really confusing on some of that stuff, guys. Let me in the comments, guys, what you think about Craftsman so far. I don't want to bash Craftsman in any way, but I'm just kind of telling you guys my thoughts so far on the brand, what I've seen with Craftsman, and kind of what's going on there. The new RP stuff looks pretty cool. I'm glad to see them trying to push up market a little bit more, and the stuff really isn't a bad deal for what it's worth. So love to see what Craftsman is going to do in the future. Really like to see them, push their quality up for what they're charging for a lot of the stuff. Very similar to DeWalt here and there. Kind of curious to see what they're going to do exactly when you sell DeWalt in the same store as Craftsman, and the price difference is not huge. So, and DeWalt's got a much, much larger line. It doesn't make sense all the time to go to Craftsman. You can just spend a little bit more, go DeWalt, and you're going to have pretty much every tool you're going to want, even at the same store. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and take care, guys. Have a good day.